Hey everybody out there in YouTube land, live from my mother's basement. Here's Johnny. Hooray! So, as everyone is well aware that watches this channel in particular, I have been kind of disenfranchised with WWE and their programming for a little while. So, in order to get myself in a better mood, I was, doing a couple of things that resemble thinking before. I know, scary thought that is, me thinking, oh god. I was actually thinking about TNA, and I was thinking about a few feuds that I would like to see in the near future. I wrote a few of them down. I don't have very much to say about them. I just came to mind as I thought would be good entertaining television and feuds that could actually last a while, something they could build a storyline around, something that was kind of self-sufficient and almost a no-brainer to me. But I will talk about it for a little bit, maybe a few of them. The first and foremost, for TNA would be to get a good women's feud going for the Knockouts title, because I think that programming being centralized around the women's belt would do a lot more for me. Especially being pissed that WWE doesn't do anything with their divas at all. AJ being their prominent featured diva, she's not even wrestling, she's in an authority role, and it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. She should be going after a title, she shouldn't be making decisions in a role that she's going to have to be replaced in 2 to 3 months anyway. But, I'm not going to bitch. Let's just talk about, Miss Tessmacher versus Sarita. Sarita is a TNA knockout that can get it done in the ring, and really, I don't think she's had her fair shot at singles competition. I thought they were really going to do something with her when they were, pairing her up with Rosita there in the Mexican America swerve, and then when the ladies were walking off, leaving the guys, the Anarquia and Hernandez on their own, I thought they were going to start to launch her a little bit more prominently, but she never got featured, so this would be a good time to bring her back, seeing as Tessmacher has already gone through Gail Kim, and aside from a Mickie James heel turn, she's already done the Madison Rayne thing, and unless you bring back an Angelina Love, there's a lot of baby faces out there, like ODB, for instance, just people that we've already seen a lot of, and I think Sarita would be a nice welcome, addition to the programming. The other person they could introduce would be Winter, but, my friend Dan would probably like to see that a lot more than me at the moment, because I feel that Sarita's been the one that's been more neglected. At least Winter got a nice title run. Well, not really nice, but at least she got like the head nod kind of title run over last year. So, the next thing I was thinking about is actually a tag title feud. Now, I know that when Chavo made his debut, he had nothing to do with Kaz and Daniels, but after Chavo and Hernandez get done going through Kid Cash and Gunner, it would make a logical sense that they start to rebuild the tag division around these guys, because, the Motor City Machine Guns are no more, Beer Money is split up, and it would be very good for the tag division to have a veteran like Chavo in it for a while, in order to get his feet wet, in order to lock horns with some guys, and in order to just get him on the television for a while to get the fans behind him in TNA. And I think that that's a safer bet to build him up over time rather than just throw him in the main event. That's what I would rather see. So, I would like to see Kazarian and Daniels versus Chavo and Hernandez. Now, everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of Hernandez, but in terms of what it would do for Chavo, and in terms of even how it could rub off for Hernandez's career if he could stick with Chavo for a while, even blowing off into a Chavo-Hernandez, split feud in order to put over Hernandez and maybe give him the credit that he hasn't been due. If, he can manage not to injure people in the ring, maybe it's his chance. The next feud I would like to see in the near future, mind you, would be the Pope versus Crimson. These are two guys that I don't really remember seeing lock up ever, but they probably could have. I might just not be remembering it because of the medicine that I'm on right now. Kind of groggy, fuzzy memory. But I think Pope and Crimson could come out, you know, Crimson obviously being the heel, Pope being the babyface back from making a movie, and these two guys could have a long kind of blood feud just for the hell of it, and it would get both these guys on television, and they're about the same level on the card. Crimson, after beating Morgan, and after going for the television title, you know, making himself known as a credible singles wrestler. And the Pope really desperately needs to cement himself as a singles wrestler as well. That's a possible threat for either the TV title or the world title again at some point. So I think those two should just kind of slug it out, especially after this BFG series is over, because you know damn well they're not going to have the Pope win that. So they need to find something for him to do after the fact. And I think Crimson would be a safe opponent at this point because he's not really booked up with anybody else. Moving on, before this video gets to be 20 minutes long, although I have a feeling every other one does. James Storm as a heel versus Austin Aries. And the reason I say this is because James Storm has had the chance to be the mega babyface over and over again, and they never pulled the trigger with it, and he hasn't gotten his revenge against Bobby Roode yet. But what if they just all of a sudden... I mean, yes, it would be nice if James Storm faced Bobby Roode first and then pulled the mask on everyone and was in charge of the Aces and Eights or some shit like that, but what if he just legitimately went after Austin Aries and turned heel and just did it as to where you could buy into it? Because I think that James Storm would work better as the heel versus Austin Aries, because at this point they're not going to turn Aries back heel. He's their World Heavyweight Champion, and a strong-looking one for the moment. It's just something that I would like to see. I would like to see James Storm work as a heel again, and I'd like to see him versus a babyface Aries. It doesn't have to happen right away. It doesn't have to happen next month. But, you know, if it was to happen, let's say, you know, 4 or 5 months down the line, and they have a nice drag-out, you know, knockout feud, like, go for it, man. Another Austin Aries feud I'd like to see is Samoa Joe, and I really think by the way that they're booking the Bound for Glory series that Samoa Joe is going to pull this thing off. Now, granted, him and James Storm have been kind of close lately, but I think Joe is going to walk away with this and challenge Aries for the belt, and I think that putting the belt on Joe after all this time and trying to use the series to rebuild him as a credible main eventer that can get it done and to be a threat, you know, via submission or via pinfall or however he wants to get it done, breaking him away from Magnus after their tag run, it would just be a good thing. And using Austin Aries as a smaller guy that's quick, somebody that Joe would have to really think about in the ring with, it would just make the both of them look really good. I'm still going down the list here. I've got a few more. Jesse Sorensen versus Zima Ion. I can't wait for this thing to play out and actually get going, because Zima Ion to me has done everything right as a heel. They have really played this up in the right way. I mean, it was very tragic what happened to Sorensen back at Against All Odds with the broken neck, but I honestly think this is the best thing that could have ever happened to his career if he gets full mobility back. I mean, I hate to say that to the guy. Don't think that I'm cursing this guy out, you know, and being like, oh, well, the only reason he's ever going to get big is because of his broken neck. But this really is the thunder and the fire under him that he needed, and the steamroll that he really needed to be able to capture that X Division title, to get the crowd behind him to a cause as to where people weren't going to be booing him out of the building. Because when I saw him live back in December of 2011, nobody gave a shit about Jesse Sorensen, me included. And now I'm 125% behind this guy. I'm 200% behind this guy to come back and wipe the floor with Zima Ion. And that's saying something, because I like heels. I like bad guys doing shady shit tactics. I liked when Zima Ion, although it was a real, you know, craptastic finish to that match, I liked the fact that he said, fuck you, Sanjay Dutt, and he sprayed him in the eyes with hairspray at the very end of the last pay-per-view there. I liked that, because I like bad guys doing bad stuff in order to cheat to win. That's why I liked Eddie Guerrero so much. But I really want to see Jesse Sorensen come back and kick Zima Ion's ass. And I think part of me you know, part of me loved the match between Austin Aries and Bobby Roode so much is because Bobby Roode was trying so hard to cheat, to do the underhanded tactics, to pull the wool over, you know, the referee's eyes, and to, you know, to cheat Aries out of the match. And Aries came back and said, "No way, brother." And it was just a feel-good moment as a wrestling fan, and I think that we really need more of that. And TNA has been delivering it good so far. If they can continue to do that, maybe at Bound for Glory, Jesse Sorensen's neck will be better, and he'll be able to challenge Zema Ion. Maybe it'll be after the fact, but I want to see it in the near future. They need to deliver on this thing, and I think it's going to be huge. Anyway, I'm excited for it. Another feud that I'd like to see. I don't know how the hell they do this because Kenny King is a babyface and Kurt Angle right now is a babyface. Maybe it could just be as a competitive kind of thing like the Benoit Booker T best of whatever series was. But I'd like to see Kenny King go against Kurt Angle. And the reason I say that is because not only would it put Kenny King over to the fucking moon, but these two guys could go out there and work the fucking hell of a match together. Angle could keep up with that X Division style pace. He could also teach Kenny King a lot about in-ring psychology. Kenny King has the look, and he's got the fucking mic skills. I don't know if he's got the ring psychology down yet, and I think that Kurt Angle could take his ass out there for 2, 3, 4 months or whatever, and just go to town on him and be the best thing for him. And I would love to see the work that those guys could put on in the high spots and everything. Just the whole thing about the program in general would get me, it's already got me excited thinking about it, so I would really like to see it. Austin Aries versus AJ Styles. This is like pretty much my TNA wet dream right here. X Division style, but not only that, just wrestling. All out. Guys that are athletic, guys that can move, guys that remind me of what Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat were going to do. Guys that remind me of modern day Jericho versus Punk feud, only to the nth degree. It's going to be the match that should have happened at WrestleMania. You know, like, yes, it was a great triumphant match with Punk and Jericho, but I think that Aries versus Styles, if they can give that to us in a way that makes Styles look like a credible competitor and Aries look like he's still on top, it would do so much for TNA, because AJ Styles is the TNA poster boy. He's the John Cena that not everybody's sick of TNA. And in order, it would put Austin Aries over through the moon, through Neptune, past Pluto, out into Star Trek territory we're talking about. And I just would love to see this match. Look at me, I'm like fucking like sweating talking about it. I'm so excited. That are just sweaty, just nasty, whatever. I got 2 more to go, guys. Don't lose faith on me yet. Bully Ray. I love Bully Ray. He is the best heel right now in wrestling. If you do not agree with that, you haven't been watching wrestling lately. Bully Ray is the best natural mic working heel right now. He has gotten the best heat for months straight. Everything he's doing right now is fantastic. Everything with Twitter is funny as shit. And he's actually making people like this new side of Abyss with the Joseph Park character, if you can believe that, because I did not like Abyss for any reason. I was so sick of it. I was ready to give up. I wanted to fire Abyss. Like, if I was in control of that company, I was going to dump him, because he couldn't do anything. Nothing about him was exciting. But now this feud with Bully Ray has kind of made me see that he has a lot more to offer. They just weren't tapping into it at all. So, you know, he's human. Bully Ray versus Chavo Guerrero. Because, I mean, I know they've locked up in the past, but I think it's about time that TNA gave us a good veteran feud. And Bully Ray's at the point in his career where he can just go out there and lose. He can lose every fucking match he's ever in, and he's still going to go out there and look all the much better for it. And it would put Chavo over really good in order to go over a heel like Bully Ray. But not only that, but it would be an entertaining as shit match, because I know the psychology that both of these guys bring to the ring. And it would have us laughing, and it might even have us laughing so hard we're crying by the end of it. Chavo is a guy that go in there and go toe-to-toe with Bully Ray. They've been through so many fucking different, you know, places together, WWE, ECW, and I can't wait. I would want to see this match really bad. And finally, we get to the big one, the blow-off, payoff thing that I've been waiting for, even more so than Aries versus Styles. I want to see Bobby Roode get it on with James Storm. I'm tired of dicking around, and I want it to happen really soon, really bad. I want to see Storm finally get his hands on Roode. And you know what? I actually want Storm to lose so that he will turn heel. That way, he can go against Austin Aries in another match that I was thinking about. But, no, like, I really want to see these two get it on because I loved Beer Money. I really did. I think Beer Money was probably within the best 3 tag teams of the last decade, without a doubt. They might be in the top 2. I'm not gonna lie. So, these two guys are phenomenal fucking workers together. They know each other inside and out. I loved the match that they had, albeit, kind of shenanigan style when Storm actually kicked Roode out of the cage. I really thought they were going to put the belt on Storm that night. I was really surprised when they didn't. I give kudos to TNA for seeing it through, for having the long-term vision that they've been having, especially with, Bruce Pritchard in charge. But I want to see Roode and Storm get it on one final time, for all the guts, for all the glory, whatever you want to call it, for all the bread. And I want to see some closure on this thing because I've been waiting, and I've been waiting kind of patiently. I haven't been like doing jumping jacks and throwing a fit, but it's getting to the point where if they don't deliver on this soon, I think a lot of people are going to lose interest with it because it's reaching that fever pitch, and you have to deliver when things reach that fever pitch. Anyway, this isn't a 20-minute video, yay! So, what do you guys think about some of these ideas? I'll go back over what I said real quick. Tessmacher versus Sarita. Kaz and Daniels versus Chavo and Hernandez. The Pope versus Crimson. Heel James Storm versus Babyface Austin Aries. Samoa Joe versus Austin Aries. Jesse Sorensen versus Zima Ion. Kenny King versus Kurt Angle. Austin Aries, a double himself, versus AJ Styles, TNA's own poster boy, the Golden Child. Bully Ray versus Chavo Guerrero, and Bobby Roode versus James Storm. I'd love to get your guys' comments or a response video even. What are some TNA feuds that you guys want to see? Hopefully ones I haven't listed. Or if you really do agree with me, let me know. Let me know if it's worth, shouting about. If you guys want to see Aries versus Styles, let's get this shit trending and let's see it real soon. Anyway, I'm John. I live in my mother's basement. This has been a Live from My Mother's Basement production. Thank you for watching.